What is up? Welcome back to another episode of What's Emmanuel Thinking. My name is Emmanuel and I am the one thinking. How are we doing today? It is a beautiful day in the world for many, many reasons. And no, it has nothing to do with the discovery and the admission of the fact that there are, in fact, UFOs. Okay. Let me tell y'all something. Okay. Every time they say there's UFOs, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I don't think you care. I don't think anybody cares. You know why? Because we got bills to pay. All right? I do not. What is a UFO going to do in my life that's going to affect my life? Right? Like, is he going to put in on the rent? Or is it going to put in on the rent? No? Cool. Does it got gas money? No? Cool. Because I don't care. I don't care. We got too many things going on right now for us to worry about UFOs, unidentified flying objects. All right? Look, it's a luxury to care about UFOs. People don't even realize that. If you talk to anybody that actually cares about UFOs, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't even need to meet them. One, either they got a lot of money or they got no money, right? And they have no job. Because it's only people with too much time on their hands that care about these UFOs. Nobody with things going on cares about UFOs, right? And I know if you're there and like, I care about UFOs, well, that means congratulations, you got money, or get your ass up and get to work because you ain't got nothing going on. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Uh, yeah, no, do not care about the UFOs. I don't like them. I don't think we all care about them. Like I said, we got too much happening, too much in the world going on. And if you're listening to this, this is just after the historical day of the Montgomery, Alabama riverboat ass whooping, I believe is what we were referring to it. I've heard many names, but I like I like the Alabama ass whooping. That's what I like right there. That's for those of you that don't know if you're under a rock, because this story has gone viral, global. I literally have a sister in Africa that sent me different angles. I got homies out in the UK. I got friends that have sent it to me from different countries. Okay, this story has gone global. All right. Now, what happened is there's a security guard in Montgomery, Alabama, that's watching the dock. Manning the guard. He's in charge of that area. He's in charge of making sure all the boats get parked in properly. He's in charge of making sure everything runs smooth on that water. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. As long as you listening to that man, the security man, that's his only job. He's there working. I couldn't imagine he gets paid very much for it, but it's a point of passion for him. He goes into work every day. He deals with a lot of nice people. I'm sure he's on the water. Anybody that's by the water. That's why people like going fishing and camping. Being by the water is a pleasant activity. So he's working down by it. But the one thing that he's in charge of is the people's safety. That's number one. You got to make sure everybody on that water follows his instructions to a T for their own safety. You know, he's a security man, but the primary decision and the primary function is safety first and foremost. Now, there's a boat I believe is called the Harriet Tubman, which I still don't believe is true. That's trying to dock. It's a ferry boat, larger boat with a lot of people waiting to get on. But for some odd reason, there's a smaller boat with some folks that have parked their boat in the wrong place, and the security guard has asked them to move it. They have refused to move the boat, so he takes it upon himself to move the boat himself because that's not where you're supposed to be. We got this big boat's coming on. There's a lot of people that are trying to get on. I'm trying to do my job. I asked you to move your boat. You didn't move your boat. All good. I'm gonna move it for you. All right. Now there's a lot. This is where the discussion comes with a little bit of debate. All right. So what happens next is the security guard starts arguing with the owners of the boat, and I believe at this point is a good time to introduce the fact that the security guard is a black man. The owners of the boat are a bunch of white folks. All right. There's 4 or 5 white men and a couple white ladies. And what happens is they just jump this black man. They jump him. That's just straight up what happens at this point. So what happens is he gets jumped, right? Before he gets jumped, he tosses his hat in the air, And nobody understands why when that video starts, when we all saw it, we were confused. Why would he throw his hat in the air? What does that have to do with anything? What happens next is that hat in the air was not a toss, it was a signal. Because brothers came from far and wide to protect this man and join in on what we now call as August 5th, the ass whooping in Alabama. All right. Now this whole brawl, I loved every moment of it. It was very fun. I think it ended right at the crescendo, which was perfect. And not often do we have a situation where there's a large fight and and especially in the states where there's a lot of gun violence. I'll say this is actually a good time where I was actually very happy. No one got killed, just a lot of ass whoopings and lessons learned, I believe, is what happened today. Uh, you see so many different things going on in that video. There is now at least 100 different angles of this altercation, and just as many different takes of this altercation. But from what I've heard, it's unanimous. We love it. We love every moment of it because this security guard got jumped by these white men and they did not realize what was coming back. You know, and often that's the reason why they do this stuff. Like I looked at that video, okay, and if anybody watches this video, this is one thing that I don't think too many people pick up on. Okay, this group of white guys are on this dock, but if you look around, there's nothing but black people around. Like, there's a lot of black people in that video. You know what I mean? Like, most people would be like, oh, yeah, there's a few. No, look at that video again. That's honestly the crazy thing is they seem to be the only group of white people in that area. Now, if I'm the only group of white people in that area, I don't think attacking a black dude without fair reason is excusable, but they found out how many black people really were in that area because they came down to protect that security guard, and not only did they protect that security guard, they went and got their lick back. For those of you that don't know what that means, they went and got their revenge. All right, they went back and brawled. They said, "Y'all want to fight? Don't you worry. There's a fight on the way. No, 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 no. Don't run away now. No, no, no. You guys had your 1 on 6 chance. Now we gonna have our 40 on 6 chance. That's all that is. Everybody want to get their fighting back. Everyone wants to toss some hands into the mix. You know what I mean? This is a buffet, and y'all ordered every hand you could find. It's phenomenal. There's so many different angles. I personally, my favorite part of it was the young man that jumped into the water. I know a lot of y'all love that young man, bro. I've never seen anybody jump into water to swim to a fight, but I was fascinated by it. I watched that part alone countless times. That young man jumped into the water, swam over to go help Unc, and was still had enough energy to toss 20-piece combos. That young boy was swinging, swinging. He was out there fighting for justice. That's what he was doing. Oh man, made my heart warm. That was a great situation right there. And I know what people think when it comes to stuff like this is, oh Manuel, you condone violence. I don't often condone violence. That's not at all the case. I don't think anybody that watched the situation was even like considering this is the right way to go about it because there's so many other ways to go about it, of course. But I believe in the moment it was the only option because there's so many levels to this that people don't even realize that like let me put it to you like this. The reason why I love the video so much is because I have been in situations where you're the only black person surrounded by racist white people, right? And in this situation, for the sake of argument, let's just say they weren't racist. All right, they weren't racist. They just all happen to hate the same black dude. Security. They're just mad at the security guard, regardless, whatever. But like I've been around racist white dudes before. I've been chased by racist white dudes before where I'm the only black person, right? And in that moment, I would have hoped, I would have prayed to have some backup. One other brother with me. You know what I mean? That's all I owe for. That's what I'm saying. But in that moment, that's a situation where you can like I saw myself as that security guard, but like this is the time when the help was there. You know what I mean? The troops rolled in. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all fun and games when you want to mess with one person and there's 6, 7 of y'all. All right, no problem, no problem. You want that's how you want to play the games. That's how you got to play the games. But when the troops arrive, I don't want to hear diddly squat. All right, I don't want to hear sorry. I don't want to hear it was a mistake. It was an accident. I don't want to hear nothing. That all I want to hear is put them up. It's game time. That's all I want to hear. The only thing I want to hear is a soundtrack. DJ hit that song, you know. And the song of today was ludicrous, move bitch get out the way. That's exactly what was going on. They was moving and grooving on them white boys. That was a great time. It's phenomenal. And that's what I'm telling you. I think it's not often that you get to see the justice come right after the disrespect, right? Because often you just see the situation where it's whatever happened, you know what I mean? And like I said, I like to reiterate the fact I have been chased by a group of white folks. My first ever joke on stage was telling that story. This is a funny story. I was on rollerblades and I'm rollerblading away from a white truck, right? The only reason I got away is because I could go on, I was rollerblading my ass off and the truck was on the road, right? So, I'm just saying, like, I got away, right? But in that moment, I was like, okay, I can't fight these guys on rollerblades. Like, this ain't real life. I can't win a fight. Even if I wasn't on rollerblades, there was at least 4 or 5 people in that truck. You know what I mean? Screaming the N word, nigger, go back to Africa, all that jazz, all the classics. I've heard all the classics. You know what I mean? And the thing is, this isn't a story that's unique to myself. I know a lot of brothers and sisters that have dealt with the same thing. I got a close friend that's gone to a house party back in high school, and yo, they got in a fight with a black dude. So the whole party said, "Hey, yo, f up any N word you see." Well, they was in trouble. They were one of them N words in that vicinity, and I don't know if you've seen any black people, but you can see them. You can see them often. And so they were in trouble, right? Things happen like this all the time, but a lot of the time, the end game is simply just we run away or you just get jumped. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes you just get jumped. That happens too, and it's sad to say. Obviously, there's the escalation of it where people end up worse and just beat up. But a lot of the times you just get beat up. They leave, they laughing, they giggling, they walk away. You got to get up, dust yourself off, and go home, and that's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? But this moment right here is what we call justice. Sweet, sweet justice. It's like when you watching a movie and like you're the main character. It was great stuff. Great. Ooh, goodness gracious. A little bit of dry throat. The reason is I've been laughing about this video for 2 days straight. That'll happen. I'm not gonna lie to you. The memes that have come out, the different angles, the commentary, the different takes, the nicknames, every everything about it has just been perfect. It's just been mwah, just just perfect. It's been great. Yeah, no, I think that's enough. I think I'm gonna let that topic breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? Because that is definitely something that's I wouldn't say that it's actually a little bit of a debate that I've heard. I've been hearing a little bit now from a couple different takes. So there's obviously the take of pure entertainment, laughter, enjoyment, everyone having a great time with it. But then there's a flip side of it where there are some black people that are saying that was not at all like they don't like it at all. They don't like what they saw. They don't like what they saw at all. And to those people, I would like to ask, what do you think they should have done in that moment? Right? Put yourself in a situation where that security guard is your uncle or your brother or your dad, and he gets beat up, and then let's say just that one brother comes down and breaks up the fight a little bit, you know. But now there's only 2 of those guys there, and now these white dudes just get back in their boat and then they go off. There's no punishments. There's no arrest made. It's just a viral video. Nothing goes. Nothing else happens. What would the feeling be then? You know what I mean? That's my question to the people that don't think this was handled accordingly. How do you feel then? Because these are the same people that will sit there and then look at that video and be like, man, things got to change. One of these times you're going to mess with the wrong people. And then, but I mean, look, these was the wrong people. That's what I'm saying. You did this in the wrong area to the wrong group of people. And I often tell people, don't do nothing stupid. Out like there's a lot of crazy people out here. I'm not crazy, but I can be. And a lot of people are crazy, right? So you need to treat everybody with respect and and be be very kind to the public because you don't know who's having a bad day. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like you like that kid that swam there burned off a lot of energy before he got off. You're lucky he didn't just get off the boat because like that dude would have come off like the Hulk. That's crazy. You know how much energy it takes to swim. It takes a lot of energy to swim. Look at Michael Phelps, man. That dude was swimming his ass off. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm just saying, I understand the side that's like, oh, they shouldn't have fought and blah, blah, blah. But you need to take into account the fact that like it was personal, man. You don't know that feeling. And also, that's the thing, obviously, I'd say the crescendo was obviously the old dude hitting people with chairs. That was crazy because the funny thing about it is how do you hit people with chairs in a place where nobody was sitting down? That's one thing that I realized. There was no seats anywhere. Where did he get the chair from? This guy just produced a chair. He just came up with a chair, right? And the line, we saw where the line was, right? Because there's police officers that ended up there in that situation. There's a lot of cops there. But the thing that we found out that the line was drawn with hitting old white ladies with chairs. All right, so that's fair. I think we all knew that that was the end of the line when he hit the old white lady with the chair. We were like, okay, we can stop it here. You know what I mean? We can stop the fight. Like, we can stop the fight here, and that's where it ended. And I think that's why everyone was so happy with it because it was nice. We got our justice. We got a little get back. We got a little extra, and then we ended the fight. But the funny thing is, the cops was letting him hit the old white guy with the chair. That was not the issue. That was not the issue at all, man. That was some funny stuff, man. And also, one thing I realized too is there was some white folks there that I didn't see at the beginning of the fight, which leads me to believe that there was just some extra white people around that just joined in on their team side. To which I would say that's a lesson in life, right? In a situation where there's people getting catching hands, don't go towards the fight if you're not like it's unnecessary. I've never once seen a full fight go on and have my first thought be, let me jump in this. Come on, son. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. That's a life lesson right there. If there's a brawl going on, don't go in there. And especially if it's all black versus all white. You know what I mean? That's a fight you want to stay away from. Even if you're an ally. Even if you like, no, but I'm an ally. Sorry, we're not wearing pennies. I'm just looking at skin color. I can't tell who's who. I might hit a friendly. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. If there's a race war going on and Eminem is next to me, I might hit Eminem. I don't know what team he's on, man. I couldn't tell. You know what I mean? I can't tell. People just looking at colors. They just see all they see is sunburn and they swing. That's all they saw. You know what I mean? They were just swinging at the sunburns. You know what I mean? They were looking for Larry the Lobster. That's all they were doing over there. But that's just a good lesson right there. If you're not part of the kerfuffle, don't join in. Don't be part of it, man. Just sit back, enjoy, pull your phone out, and watch. If there's enough people, like 10, like, there were so many people already involved in that fight. They didn't need you. They don't need you to join in. You're good. Good on the sidelines. But this was also a great lesson. I think the world is starting to realize that hey, look, things are different in real life. You know, People are starting to remember that real life is not at all online. You can't just do what you like. This isn't the metaverse. You know, there's not just no rules and regulations out here. There's not just like free ball. You can't just do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? What you need to realize is that people can catch hands in person. You can't you can't just get away with stuff in real life. There's rules, there's repercussions. This isn't online. Online, you could talk trash, you could do all that jazz, you could say wild stuff and get away with it and just peacefully go home because you don't have an AIV, your AV or whatever they call it, don't have a photo up and your email's fake and all that stuff. And then you could just troll people online. But when it is real life, it is your real face. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. You better stay safe out there in that real world, people. If you would not say it in person, I say don't say it online. That's the way I live my life. That's all I'm saying. You guys should partake in that as well. A little warm today. Uh, yeah, man. No, that was the big thing today, man. That was um, truly inspirational. I gotta say, I've been telling people, I'm like, man, I don't think black people have been this unified since Barack Obama got elected. Like straight up, this, like those are the feelings right now. I don't know if black people have all been on the same page like this in a long time. That's all I'm saying. It is a crazy, crazy time. That video brought together every creed, shade of black there is. Every black person watched it, and every black person just feels together right now. You know what I mean? The word that I've heard a lot is unity. That's crazy. I'm just saying, like, but like that's the best I can think of. Is truly like the last time that I felt that all black people were like this was when Obama got elected. It was just joy all around, man. But honestly, you know what? If you're listening to this, man, please you know, maybe shoot me a message. Just let me know what you think about the whole situation. Let me know what your takes on the Alabama Montgomery fight situation was. I like to hear different takes, right? Because that's part of it too. I want to keep this interactive. Wow, holy man, look at me. English is tough sometimes. Don't mess with me. I speak good on the inside. But yeah, man, if you are listening to this, man, shoot me a message. Let me know what your take on the Alabama fight was. That was a good time. Nice, man. And that was that's everybody. And this kind of brings me, and I'm gonna bring it home with this one here. I learned something in my I'd say my late 20s. I am in my late 20s now. I'm 29, gonna be 30 this year. But I don't even know if my brother would remember even telling me this. But it's something that and some people might have learned it earlier. But he told me something. He said, as a man and as a person, it doesn't really matter gender specific. A person should have a code to live by. You know, it's not necessarily something that's written in stone, but there should be a code that you adhere to. There's something that you yourself put in place to hold yourself accountable, right? And I'm not saying that this whole situation this might not even have anything to do with the situation, but I'm just talking about in general. I think that is a very important thing, and that's actually something that helped change the trajectory of my life. As a growing man, once he said that to me, and I didn't really understand it. Right, I was going through a lot at the time. A lot of turbulence. We'll call it turbulence in my life, and that was kind of like the captain captain hopping on the mic and being like, just a quick reminder here. Life does come with turbulence, but remember that at the end of the day is the shakes in the flight don't matter. It's about getting to the destination. And the shakes aren't always, and they're not for long. That's really what it is. But like I said, the statement about a person should live by a code, because the older you get, the more freedom you get. That's what happens, right? And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of people in life, right? The older you get, the more money you get, the more responsibility you get, but the more freedom is what you get at the end of the day, right? And with that freedom, you you really have like there's a lot you could do, all right? I always tell people, I'm like, look, once you're an adult and you have your own place, you have your own money, like you can do anything you want within the confines of the law, and even sometimes a little bit, illegal, right? Like you can get away with a lot. You could do a lot of horrible things that are completely legal, right? Let me put it to you like that, right? You could do a lot of things bad to yourself, to others, and all this stuff. Like you could be a horrible person because it's not illegal to be a horrible person. You could be a horrible person to yourself, to others, and it's not illegal. No one can call the police and be like, "Hey, Emmanuel's an asshole." You know what I mean? That's not a thing you could do. You can't call the cops on yourself and be like, "Man, I'm real bad to myself." That's not what you know what I mean. It's not illegal. But what a code does is something that you set in place, or like a standard in which you want to adhere to, that you can always fall back on, right? It's almost like giving yourself rules and regulations, right? Because without that, it's anarchy. And that's truly what happens. People in life often fall victim to their own freedom, I'll say, because they don't have any rules and regulations in place. There's no targets, there's no goals. You just out here floating around in the ocean without a boat. You know what I mean? You know what they call that? They call that lost at sea. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? If you just in the ocean without a boat, they call that lost at sea. If you have a boat, they don't consider you lost until you say you lost, right? Breaker nine. I'm out here in the middle of the ocean and I'm lost. You know what I mean? But if you out there by yourself, just doggy paddling away, you lost at sea. You know, no code, no nothing. And that's why I really do feel like um, that's one thing that I changed in my life that has helped me turn around a lot of things. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Don't get it twisted. Don't be like, oh, Manuel's a perfect person. It's all that. I'm close. I'm close. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just saying it truly is something in my life that I think that I'd like to articulate to y'all, and maybe you take that into consideration moving forward. Just remember, a person should have a code, whatever that code may be, right? For myself, and like I said, it's not something that's written in stone. This ain't the Bible. These ain't the Ten Commandments. I'm not the one commanding you, right? It's just something that you should adhere to, right? Whether it's something simple like here's a good statement that I heard once is the way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? Now, that really resonated with me, right? Because I used to play sports, and they always used to say something pretty similar, but really specific to sports is you practice how you play, right? So the way you do anything is the way you do everything means the way that you conduct yourself in one situation often is the same way that you'll conduct yourself in another situation, right? So that talks about that really boils down to work ethic, that really boils down to loyalty, that really boils down to honesty. How you deal with a very minuscule and insignificant interaction is how you're going to deal with a very near and dear relationship to you. That's really the truth. How you talk to the barista at the coffee shop is how you're going to talk to your colleagues at work, and how you're going to talk to the ladies or the fellas, whatever you're talking to it. You know what I mean? It's just how you do anything is how you do everything, and I truly do believe that's a good one. That's one that I actually adhere to as well. That's one of my codes that I like to follow, right? And it's and like I said, it's not anything that needs to be written in stone. I'm not saying it's going to make you a better person, but at least it's like a guiding light. You know what I mean? Everyone always talks about having that northern light to point towards, and I truly do believe that this is one that everyone can apply to their lives, and it'll work out for the best. And like I said, I just want to reiterate that before I wrap out here. How you do anything is how you do everything, and everybody should live by a code, because without it, it's just anarchy, and you're just gonna be about here floating in the ocean, lost at sea. That's it for me. My name is Emmanuel. This has been What is Emmanuel Thinking? Thank you again for tuning in to another episode. We'll catch you next time. Peace.